Lost a sister. I mean, Nelson is a very dear and personal friend of mine and people in our clubhouse, so thoughts and prayers go out for the people that are dealing with that. So just wanted to get ahead of that before we started.
Shelton, moving into baseball, I know I got about lead off for Alex here today, but you guys are facing a strong pitcher in Sonny Gray. You got your ace on the mound as well. How much does your offense need to capitalize to make sure they can execute effectively against a pitcher of Sonny's caliber?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to execute because we know Sonny has weapons to, to be able to get both sides out. So it's a matter of just making sure that we take advantage of opportunities, which we did a really good job of last night.
Is there any consideration to move the game to 1 o'clock like the Yankees and Tigers did?
Yeah, that's moving games is way above my pay grade. No, I don't know if we talked about it at all. I mean, that would probably be a better question. Not with me, but I don't think we did. We discussed it at all.
Any concerns about playing in this weather, or is this not anything out of the extraordinary?
I mean, it's cold. I mean, we're in Pittsburgh in April. I mean, it's one of those things. Our guys have played in other places. I mean, I've coached in places where it's cold. We just have to make sure that we stay ahead of it a little bit.
Just looking back at the pitching you guys got yesterday, how beneficial is it just the way the timing all plays out where 2 guys cover 9 innings for you and now you potentially have 2 starters who can cover a lot of innings and kind of give your bullpen a chance to recharge and as you're figuring out roles, maybe get things with a fresh perspective?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple things in that. Yes, number one, getting a reset because our bullpen had been used pretty aggressively. So the fact that we were able to finish with Thomas yesterday was important for us. The second part of that, I think the role portion of it, now we have some flexibility with different guys available to be able to figure that out. I think we're still in the process of figuring out what those roles are going to be, and that process could actually go on for a while just based on leverage, who's available, and situation.
How many guys are in consideration for leverage?
Well, that would depend on availability. You know, first and foremost, if you're a full bullpen of everybody's available, probably in some shape or another 5. You know, if you have a full bullpen. Some of that's right, left based. A lot of it's just matchup based, depending on, what a team has in their lineup, who they're going to pinch hit, who they have available. All those factors come into play.
Shelton, Carmen last night was crediting Bart, but saying it's his work ethic that those guys really trusted. First guy in. What can you tell us about his work ethic and how being first guy in, his work with the pitchers?
Yeah, he's very detailed. I mean, I think he takes pride in how the game plan's going to go, how the work's going to go. And I think the one thing that stands out about Joey is he doesn't want to be surprised. He would rather be over-prepared, and I think that's one of the reasons he spends so much time doing that kind of prep work.
Did Joey really benefit hitting in front of Cruz and behind McCutcheon yesterday? Do you think just how he lined up?
I think that's, the protection aspect,
yes.
People will tell you analytically in the game there's nothing to it. I would strongly disagree with that. I think there is. But to say yesterday he benefited from it, honestly don't know. But I do think that there's some validity to that. Now, the counterpoint to that would be, well, there's a left-hander hitting behind him at that point, so why would you throw in pitches to hit? I don't know how all those factors come into play. I'm just going to attribute it to Joey took 2 pretty good swings yesterday and go from there. But the protection aspect, there's some validity to that. That's why you see really deep lineups cause a lot of problems because you're picking your poison with who you have to go after.
Did it pique your interest?
Did it pique my interest? Not so much, and only because I was more pleased with our approach and how we stayed with our approach.
That preparation aspect from Joey, is that something that you saw last year when he joined the team, or was that something that has kind of improved over the last?
I don't think it's improved. I think it's something that he came in with. Has it been tweaked? Maybe, in terms of how he looks about it or what information he's getting to. But I think I know that he came in with, coming over from the Giants, that was something that was important to them there, and it was something that was important to us. But he came in with that.
ICAF was saying that kind of embrace being at the bottom of the order. How much goes into the thought that goes into where to put a guy like him at the bottom of the order, whether it's 7, 8, 9, and how much can that be something where you can almost treat it like it's an extra leadoff hitter turning over the line?
This is the latter. I'm treating it like that in terms of the fact that he's having consistent at bats and turning over our lineup, and I think we've seen that happen with him. And right now he looks good there, he looks comfortable there, and don't plan on moving him off there, at least on a consistent basis. Maybe, every once in a while, but consistently I think it'll be closer to that.
Even when you go back when you were hitting coach, how much did you see that mentality change at some point where the last guy in the lineup was usually the worst hitter, and now it can be a guy that can be effective at doing that?
Yeah, well, I think there's two components. I mean, when I worked in Cleveland, our offenses were, not to be understated, they were loaded. I mean, the middle of the order there was a ton of damage. I mean, I think 1 year Casey Blake hit 9th and had 90 ribbies, so we were dealing. And then when I was in Tampa, I mean, it was every day we were rolling out something different. We were matching up and that was kind of the way Joe ran his lineups. I don't think there's as much to it as people put into. People like to put a lot into lineups moving. I don't think there's as much into it as people put into it, because usually 2 or 3 guys don't move. And then when you have different catchers that catch, or you have a guy that you platoon, all of a sudden you look at the end of the year and say like, oh, I've used 120 lineups. There's no validity to teams that win, keep their lineups consistent. I mean, the Rays a couple of years ago, I think, used more people than anybody and won the American League East. So like, it really doesn't play into it. I think the bigger thing that plays into it is guys have to not change their approach regardless of where they hit in their order. Regardless if they hit first or they hit third or they hit fourth. I mean, I think he's hitting fourth today. Like, I don't want him to change anything he's doing. It's just how we feel is the best matchup. He's hit first, he's hit third, he's hit 7th. So just don't change what you're doing.
Shouty, those difficult talks with guys about, hey, we're going to put you here, you're going to hit here, or do they kind of understand where you're coming from?
Well, I hope at the beginning of the year we kind of explained it like we're going to do what's best to win the game tonight, however that is, and whatever we're asking you to do. I mean, I think we've seen Frazier hit first, we've seen Frazier hit 9th. Like, with the exception of Brian and O'Neill, I don't really think we've moved anybody. I know O'Neill hit first last night, to Zangrilli's point, and that was more just trying to keep a left-hander near the top with Libator throwing, and one of the 3 right-handers at the top. So there's a function to every night why we're trying to get certain matchups.
Brian didn't play last night. Was that something that was planned, or did that just kind of end up happening?
No, it was planned. It was planned because I knew we were going to play Kutch the other day and right, and then I wanted to give Kutch a DH day, and then Kutch is off today, and we'll play tomorrow. So it was kind of all planned out in terms of how we were going to do it.